It's January 14th, 2023. We've had our morning coffee. We've listened to the top 10. We've seen which Magic the Gathering cards have been selling throughout the week. But now it's time for something we hope you'll really like. I'm Brody Alfonso, and here's the bottom 10 reserve list cards that no one cares about. Welcome back, folks. Thanks again for joining us. The Patreons and the Freetreons. Smash Jackson, Garen Jotter, Dusty Cully, Murray Cooper, Coin Pomeroy, Tyler Friesen, Tyler Harrison, Kyle Mears, and the MTG Moxman, the Earl of Drummer. Everybody tuning in on the channel, and for those of you tuning in on the juice is in the house, and the house is in the juice. Let's get ready to run this list. But wait, I can't do that until me and my cousin Jimmy have to give this card a dishonorable mention. It was coming in way down at the bottom end of the reserve list where no one cares about it. Phantasmal Sphere. Nobody cares about this card. Well, we've come this far. The first card on our list coming in way down at the bottom end of the reserve list. This card, 30th Anniversary Edition of the Mox Ruby. This card cost you $1,999. If you're willing to pay for that, it costs 0 mana and it doesn't tap for a red mana. It doesn't tap for a red mana. You can't play it. You can't tap it. You can't generate mana with it. It's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, and no one cares about this card. Bringing us to the number 9 card on our list this week, it's the Anniversary Edition of Mox Emerald. This 30th Anniversary Edition classic of a reserve list, Mox Emerald, will cost you $1,999.99, or €1,999.99. It costs 0 mana. No, it costs no mana because you can't cast it. It doesn't tap for a green. It doesn't make any green mana. And it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, and nobody cares about this card. Which brings us to the number 8 card on our list this week, the 30th Anniversary Edition Retro Frame Mox Sapphire. There's no price too low for this card because it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, the card that nobody cares about. It costs 0 mana because you can't play it. There's no price low enough because it doesn't tap for any blue mana, unlike its Mox Sapphire counterparts. This card's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list and nobody cares about it. Which brings us to the next card on our list. Coming in at number 7, the 30th Anniversary Edition Mox Pearl in Retro Frame. This card's coming in at the same price as the Mox Sapphire. It costs you no dollar too cheap to get this card into your collection. It costs no mana because you can't play it, and it taps for 0 white mana because you can't play it. And it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, and nobody cares about this card either. Bringing us to the next card on our list, we've got a doozy of a card for you folks today. And you guessed it, that's right. Coming in at number 6 for $2,875 or €1,750 is the 30th Anniversary Edition Mox Jet. There's no price too low for this card, and I don't see why you wouldn't just go out and get yourself International Collector's Edition for $1,199 or an unlimited version that makes mana. But this card is so ugly because its frame is just disgusting. It costs 0 mana and it taps for no black mana because, again, you can't play it. That's why it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, and nobody cares about this card, which brings us to the next card on our list. Coming in at number 5 on our list this week is the 30th Anniversary Ancestral Recall. This card, it'll cost you $900 to get it into your collection, or €1,100 and 0 euro cent. This card doesn't cost a blue mana to play because you can't play it, and it says on it, target player doesn't draw 3 cards because you also can't play this card. It costs no blue mana, you can't have it in your deck, it doesn't draw you any cards, and it puts you $900 farther away from an actual collector's edition, international collector's edition, or an unlimited edition that would actually draw you 3 cards. And it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, and nobody cares about this card. Which brings us to the number 4 card on our list this week is the 30th Anniversary Edition Time Walk. For $1,000 or 699 euro and 99 euro cent, you can get a copy of this Time Walk in 30th Anniversary Edition into your collection. For the $1,000 it'll cost you, it'll put you that much farther away from a playable copy. This copy, you can't spend a blue and 1 on it, and it will not give you an extra turn. That's why it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, where nobody cares about this card. And it brings us to another card on our list this week. Oh, we've scraped the bottom of the barrel, and we've come up with the worst of the worst cards that no one cares about. This card, the 30th Anniversary Time Twister. This card has no bottom to it. There's no price low enough. It can't shuffle your graveyard and hand into your library. It can't draw you 7 new cards, and it can't do the same for your opponents. It doesn't cost a blue and 2 because, again, you can't play it. There's no price too low for it, as you've seen here today, folks, and nobody cares about this card. Which brings us to the number 2 card on our list this week, and I know what you guys are thinking. I think you guys know what I'm about to say, but dust my eyes to see me. The number 2 card on our list this week is none other than the Retro Frame 30th Anniversary Edition Underground Sea. It'll cost you $1,499 to get a copy of this into your collection, or 1,499 euro, 99 euro cent. This land cannot go in your deck. It's not an island swamp that's going to make you any blue mana or any black mana. Again, it's going to put you $1,499 farther away from a card that would actually give you some blue mana or some black mana. And it's way down at the bottom end of the reserve list, where nobody cares about this card because you also can't play it. Which brings us to the number 1 card on our list this week. But before we hit the number 1 card on our list this week, I want to give a special birthday shout out to Michael Superbacker. Thanks again for tuning in on the channel. And to those of you tuning in, the Freetrons, the first ever Freetrons, the Patreons, and everybody, including Smash Jackson, Garen Jotter, Dusty Kelly, Murray Cooper, Coin Pomeroy, Tyler Friesen, Tyler Harrison, Kyle Mears, Earl of Drummer, and the MTG Moxman. Thanks again for watching. Happy birthday to you, my man, Michael Superbacker. We're going to bring you to the number 1 card on the list this week. If you haven't guessed it already, it's this card, the 30th Anniversary Retro Frame Black Lotus. It's a terrible frame for this card, and there is no price low enough for it, as you can see here today. If you did want to pay some of somebody else's money for it, I would advise you to just break up with them instead. This card, any dollar you spend on it is going to put you farther and farther away from an actual Black Lotus that will tap and sacrifice for 3 mana, because this one doesn't, because you can't play it. This card's right there on the bottom. Thanks again for all of you for tuning in, the Freetreons and the Patreons for tuning in, with an epic happy birthday song for you. It's January 14th, 2023. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you all again real soon.